Dr. Success is with us right now, Andrea Goeglein, and she always brings us terrific and positive news. And don't you think we could use some positive news right now? I say yes. Welcome, Dr. Success.
Thank you, thank you.
Positivity.
Positivity. It is the newest little book in my war chest. And believe me, yes, I do feel from time to time that I am. Yes, and I do. And that's what I always try and share so much. There are so many incredible resources on the market today to help us combat all the bad news that's out there at the self level, at what can I do about my life at this moment. This book is right up there with the ones. In fact, its endorsement says that Barbara Fredrickson is the genius in positive psychology movement. And I've got to tell you, I listened to 3 hours of it driving over yesterday, and it is so true. What she has done in this book is give you the tools to say, you know, we have 10 areas that we know that when people concentrate on them, and they're everything like the old standard of gratitude, but things like awe and love and hope. Yes. When we start keeping a list for ourselves, and I will direct anyone to my blog because I wrote about journaling and specifically how to journal and why it's so important. What we know is that when you start keeping a warehouse for yourself of the things in life that are beautiful, that you have awe in, things that gave you hope, people that have given you hope, that every time things start to go a little south, so you see something on the news and it's terribly upsetting, you just have to bring your mind back to, you know, if something that gives you great serenity is just sitting down with your cat on your lap and petting it.
Do it.
Right. Or get your mind back to it.
You just gave us a great idea because we talk about it on the program. Well, let's do a week or maybe a month. Turn off the news. Turn off national news and take some of these books. So read these books for a month, and then lo and behold, you'll never watch network news again, and you will have a happy life.
I'm going to tell you, I've started to notice a trend. You know, we spoke of the research last month where there is a reason why we lead with negative headlines. The mind fires a lot more, it captures, okay? What we are finding, people tuning out, the level and the degree, the depth and breadth to which we can get bad news is now so great that we're beginning to see a shift. Brian Williams on his evening news now ends every show with a positive segment. Something good that people are doing, some piece that someone's helping someone else. And when I noticed that, it caught my attention because that woman, Susan, he was one of the people who promoted the Susan Boyle, okay? And so I went to it, and then I read that he had this piece. And because I had tuned out of the news, I hadn't been catching that, but it's very apparent that shifts, and that's better that we not turn it off completely, because there is a reason for us to be informed. Being informed in a way that does not move us into action is not the way.
Well, you know, I think celebrityism, whatever word you want to call it, in the 50s, before the 50s, there was such a thing as bad publicity. Celebrities made that, that was famous. But you could get bad publicity.
Correct.
End of the 50s, early 60s, going into the rest of those decades, we found out that there is no such thing as bad publicity. But we grew up in an era where there was such a thing as bad publicity.
Yes,
correct. Correct. You know, I may have mentioned before, in the grade school my daughter went to, the headmaster used to say to the children, and she's 25 now, that don't do anything that you wouldn't want videotaped and replayed at the dinner table.
Oh, definitely, yes, definitely.
Okay.
We grew up with principles like that.
Okay. We cannot say that right now. When you see what we are doing on video and posting on the World Wide Web within moments.
We can say it. Wait a minute. We can say it, and we can really tell our children that. I mean, we can say it, but they're not adhering to it.
Well, the adults aren't either. I mean, the adults
Some adults aren't.
I live next to a CEO of a company that I will not mention, nor will I mention his name, that he put up, he did not like what a journalist wrote about his company, and he put up on YouTube I think it's at least 5 to 6 minute 4-letter word rebuttal to this article. And in all of my life of counseling CEOs, never have I heard someone go off like that in a meeting on a topic. Absolutely, and I do too.
Andrea, you made an interesting point. You said watch the news anyway. But my point is, when years and years ago the news used to be news, and now it's strictly opinion. Correct. If you watch network news, they're just slanting the news towards their opinion.
Correct.
Well, we have so many hours to fill. What has happened? We have 24-hour news.
Yeah.
Worst thing to ever happen to our news departments. 24 hours, 7 days a week to fill.
And they also became profit centers. They had to be, news was not something you were disseminating in order to inform people. It was something you were doing to attract an audience because that's what the advertisers need.
Hard to find, and I hate to say this, but hard to find an honest journalist in network news. I mean, that's the truth. They're slanting, they're brainwashing the public with their viewpoints. So when you say, well, I want the information, of course I want information.
Or their networks.
It depends on where.
I think it's larger than the individual.
It depends on where I get my information. Sure, it's a network.
Network's opinion. They're slanting it to the network's opinion.
And luckily we have enough conversation going on that we can choose. Like, you know that when you watch Fox, you're getting a particular slant on something. When you watch CNN, there's a potential for a different slant. When you watch each one of the networks according to who their parent company is, you can make leaps. No matter how many times a commentator or someone on a show says, in the interest of disclosure, you should know blah, blah, blah.
Well, now Fox will tell you, Fox will tell you they're fair and balanced. Do a lot of people think Fox is? They may be closer than a lot of networks, but I doubt it.
But that's the problem. The average person looking at it, and many people just believe what this news commentator just told you. See, how do you pick the truth out of there? See, that's where I'm going. If you watch the news, they're going to slant it and tell you all these ugly things, and there's a great big story out there, and they're giving you a 30-second sound bite that you and I are supposed to believe coming out of their mouths. That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we need to spend more time at the table, more time talking to our kids, more time reading positive actions, and spending time with that. The network news is now not what we grew up with.
But here's the wonderful thing about human development and who we are as individuals. We can take any newspaper headline with our families, with ourselves, and as we spoke last month, neutralize the language. No matter how inflamed the headline may be, we can make it a game. Until we take control of how we respond to those headlines, until we stop turning off those shows that, in fact, for me, a better term for Fox is not that they are fair and balanced, but in their perspective, they are fair and balanced. Because
Bill thinks he's fair and balanced.
Okay, don't they all? I mean,
bless you, Bill.
All of us come into every experience in life with a set of other experiences that inform us. And how we have reacted to those past things tells me how I'm going to react now.
And Andrea, you're not giving lip service to all of this because you lost a business in all of this fallout.
Absolutely.
So you have walked this
Absolutely.
path.
In fact, it has been really interesting to me the number of times I have been asked in the last 6 months, 5 months in particular, how are you functioning? Because, what is true is that you don't walk around the streets, crying your eyes out. But that doesn't mean that you are not home crying your eyes out. And what I have come, and what my husband has even come to appreciate about me, more so now than him, that the work that I've devoted my life to, this stuff works. Because I have built up the buffer of journaling every day, because I may repeat my story in its raw form and all the uglies of who made me mad and who caused my business to go down the tank and how bad the lenders are. I mean, don't think I don't say all of those things, but I have a limited group of people, and those people are people I can trust not to get crazy and react. That's one of my qualifications.
Andrea, more time next month. Sorry, time's so short
That's
today.
Okay.
Dr. Success.
Thank you.
We appreciate you so much here, and we also appreciate a great getaway. Again, if you don't want to watch the news and hear all the bad news and you want some good stuff in your life, Tanya has the answer.
I have the answer. Go to Aviv Resort and Casino, but I recommend that you leave your laptop at home, your iPod at home, your cell phone at home. You go over there and have a great time. Do a little gambling, eat at one of the 6 restaurants, go to the workout room, take a couple books, read, lay on the beach, go swimming, do all the things. Doesn't that sound great?
Yeah, let's
See, things we haven't done it for so long. Aviv Resort and Casino offers them to you and for you.